Uh,
Well, welcome back, everyone. Welcome to the Yes Dear podcast. My name is Dana Lyons. I'm here with my co-host and the troublemaker, Patrick Lyons.
is
And
that what I am to
today
you?
you are the troublemaker. It's all your fault.
All
So
right.
yeah, I mean, it would never be my fault.
No, no, that's fair.
Yes, dear. You, you you're not using that.
No,
You're not using
well,
that very.
I'll use it when it's appropriate.
All right. So today we just have to say that today Patrick has no idea what we're going to talk about. I just came up with an idea because I think this is a really we're just going to make this one fun. It's just where I felt led to go. And before I do that, actually, how sexy was I when I wore your Ranger sweatshirt?
Ah, that was pretty sexy. Yes, all
Pretty
right.
sexy, right?
Wait, is that what we're here to talk about?
I mean, we
That
can just
was
let go on. No, I'm just
yes.
kidding.
Yeah, no, that was a nice little surprise.
A nice little
Yeah,
surprise, wasn't it?
I'm a big New York Rangers fan, and of course they are now eliminated. It just I'm still in mourning, but yeah, that was a bit of a surprise when I came down and you were wearing my clothes. But I guess it's turnabout is fair play because I often wear your clothes. I
On,
just
really? Come on.
no should is I
No,
not
no. Sometimes it's better that you don't talk. You get see, you're the troublemaker.
okay.
Um,
Well,
no, we had fun with that. I thought that was a ton of fun. It was the playoffs, and the week before we wanted to do Spirit. The kids and I was like, oh, we should all put on. We were talking about we should all wear some of your Ranger stuff in support of the Rangers, and then it showed up, and none of us had anything on. And then so this next week, I was like, oh, I'm gonna wear that sweatshirt. So I wore the sweatshirt. But that was to follow up with something you did sexy that really, it was like, this is perfect. Yes, it was a perfect day because in the
what?
morning, later in the morning, when I finally made it back upstairs into our work
Oh,
area, and
mhm.
I looked over and I had to do a double take because our bed was made. You made the bed.
I did.
And I wanted to sound like a ranger. I literally cracked up out loud. And I really, in my head, was going, woo,
Hmm.
much like you do when the Rangers score. I thought that was
I,
way sexy. I was like, he just did what? And I would have screamed if I knew you definitely weren't on a call.
mm. So now everybody knows that I don't make the bed.
Mhm.
Thank you. Um,
Thankfully, you don't wet the bed either.
not well, not so much anymore. Um, yeah, I do know that is something that you really appreciate, and I never think about it ever. Not it, I actually, when you came to for the listener, when Dana, when you came down and thanked me, I felt like I had to clarify to say, listen, I just have to say, it's not like every morning I wake up and think, I know she likes it when I make the bed. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah.
I usually get up and I'm already in work mode and I'm rushing around and I just go full on into my day and I don't even think about it because
Mhm.
it's not important to me. That particular day, I woke up, I had a little more time. And for some reason, it just clicked. I was like, hey, I'll make the bed. And then to be honest, I completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
I made the bed, I went to work, completely forgot about it. And when you came down and said something, I was like, oh yeah, I did. I did do that, didn't I? I'm kind of a badass. At least
I
that day.
know.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. Sometimes you'll do something. Once I saw that, I was like, I'm surprised he didn't come up here and be like, "Did you see the room?" Because you'll
that
do it. Yeah. Did you go
re-
up to the room yet?
see, see, that reminds me of like the early days when because I grew up with a dishwasher. We never ever washed the dishes by hand. And when you and I first got married, we didn't have a dishwasher. And you grew up washing dishes by hand, I think, right? And
Yep,
so
for sure. Never had one
most,
until
yeah, so
yeah.
most nights in the early days of our marriage, you would just do the dishes. And I was, now, this was also when I was not a very good husband. I can at least own that, right? So I was fine with that. But there were those rare nights where I would do the dishes and it was almost like I would try to time it so that you would see, or I would like,
Husbands, any husbands out there? Can you relate?
yeah, I would be I mean, she's got to see this, right? And then you would come in and go, "Hey, thanks for doing the dishes." And I'm like, "Wait, what? Like, I mean, come on, I did the dishes. Like, did you see what I did? I did the dishes." Like, and not realizing, yeah, that's actually not your job. It's actually like I can do the dishes. And like I said, I was a bad husband. I
Not
was.
in every way. In every way.
Oh, just most
You're
ways.
not the husband you are today, neither, and I'm not the wife that I was. But the reason I bring all that up, because how often do we do stuff like this when we're dating or newly married? You know, we get so wrapped up in the person that it doesn't feel like work. And yet, over time, whether you're married or not, you're in a relationship or you're married, and over time, you just forget all these little things to have fun with each other and pour into each other for the pure pleasure of having fun. Some of this is areas where we have needs, like what is really important to me or what's really important to you. And how can we just really love on our spouse in a way that's fun? It doesn't always have to be, oh gosh, I hate doing this. And I know it's important to him. And we try to figure out a way to do it because it's fun for them and we can kind of stress over it, you know, having to do the thing, but just making it fun, pouring into one another.
Hmm.
And reminiscing about it. Like that will always be, I'll never forget the time I walked in and saw the bed made. And it's not like you haven't made the bed in the past. It's just you don't do it on a regular basis, much at all, ever. But when you do, it catches my eye. And I literally wanted to be like you on nights that you watch your Rangers and just woohoo.
Hmm.
And I just wanted to have fun with that. And I put on your, you know, the Ranger sweatshirt just to get the laugh, just to make you feel good, just to say it's a fun way of saying, I love you. And this is just a fun way to
Hmm.
play. And so it's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. And along the way, as something comes along, I think we should reminisce about it because I think we forget that.
Hmm.
You know, can I tell you a really funny one?
Yeah, you're gonna anyway.
I just literally just hit my head just now. But do you remember the time that we went to we went to Pennsylvania and we had a hotel room, and just to be crazy and have a reaction out of me, I had to use the bathroom, went into the bathroom. When I came out, you were on the floor with your pants on backwards.
I had all my clothes on backwards. Yes.
It's like I was so thrown off, and it brought the biggest laugh because I'm like, what are you doing? And you're like, you did it purely for that laugh. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yes, I do. Um, and now everyone knows. So yes, I absolutely remember that, and I did it for the laugh, and I think my kids know, my friend, like people that know us know. To me, laughter is a huge part of. Okay, it's one of the things that I find sexy about you
Mm.
is the banter, the fun, the laughter, because it doesn't always have to be hard. It doesn't have to be work. It doesn't have to be uncomfortable. It can be fun.
Yeah.
But if you're waiting for it to be fun, and maybe that's where you're going, like if you're waiting, if you're sitting back and waiting, and it's very easy when we start to drift apart to think, well, she's not trying. So, it's not even necessarily like a conscious thought. Well, she's not trying, so I'm not going to try. We just kind of drift apart, or we fall into malaise. And to me, if you want the relationship to be fun, bring it. Don't wait for it. Bring it. And
Mhm.
I don't know, notorious or famous for just to me anything for a laugh, anything
Mhm.
silly that if I can make somebody laugh, that if brighten the day, including put my clothes on backwards and lay on the floor like I can't get up because of it.
Mhm.
How horrifying is this that now everybody understands that, everybody knows that. Thank you. I'll get you for that.
Oh. No, there's just there's a lot of memories that and really it goes back to, I think some of it we know each other's, it's really about pouring into one another.
Yeah.
and not about the to-do list
Right.
that we can mentally kind of have, like,
Yeah.
"Ah, I gotta do this for my wife, or she expects me, those kind, or my husband, but
Yeah.
literally having fun with each other. We did it when we were dating. It's those little things. It's not like this big date where we have to go all out. It's taking these little snippet moments. Here's another one that I remember. Not so embarrassing this time.
No, it's fine. They're
Um,
probably all embarrassing, but
no, this one really wasn't. It was, I don't think it was during COVID, maybe it was, but we lived in the other house, and you really just asked me to eat lunch with you, and you took me out in the backyard and made a picnic for us. And
I
we sat
remember.
there and had giggles, and we had precious little conversation, and we
Yeah.
were just be.
Yep.
Remember that?
Yeah, that I remember. I like it doesn't always have to it doesn't always have it doesn't always have to cost a lot of money.
Mhm.
It doesn't always have to be super engineered. It's the little moments. It's again little opportunities to be. I think about I don't know, simple stuff like when you come home from having been out just running errands and you'll put a bag on the table with one donut in it. Like, that's because donuts are my love language.
Yeah.
And but it's just I think it, it's being intentional about trying to bring the fun or trying to use that use your words to pour into the other person.
Mhm.
And we did do that. That's why you married me, because I wanted to do that and it was fun and exciting and right. And there's the uncertainty of, can I woo you into a forever kind of thing? I mean, so you work for it, you work hard at it, and then it's very easy. Life happens and you're not dating anymore. And it's just very easy to fall into where you said
Robot mode.
the checkbox,
Yeah.
like, okay, I did my work today. I, paid the bills, got the kids fed. Uh, and on that list is I have to talk to my wife. I have to be romantic. And it takes the spontaneity and the romance out of it. But I don't think it's not life doing that. That's me allowing that, right? That's just me deciding to take the romance out of it.
Yeah, but what do you think causes that though? Like, why over time does that happen?
Um, Complacency.
Mm-hmm.
Um, right. To me, I think that's what comes to mind immediately is complacency. It's like we forget, I don't know, we start to take each other for granted,
Mm-hmm.
right? Hey, you're here already. Or we start this is a big one. We start to focus more on the differences. And we start to get annoyed by them than celebrating them. I mean, that's part of what it's part of we joke about this all the time. We have like nothing in common. We have like
Nothing except our children
that's it. So and we both think that I'm funny.
and the bed. Well, no, sometimes.
No,
Some
always.
no. Sometimes.
All right, we'll
Sometimes.
have to take this offline. But
Mm.
we have very little in common, and we could that could annoy the crap out of us if we wanted it to.
Oh, it
But when we
does.
were,
It
what's that?
does. It
Oh,
does. No, I'm
all right.
just
Well, that
kidding.
could annoy me if I wanted it to.
I'm
I didn't
just
realize.
kidding.
But see, that's why I can't, because if I let it get, it's already apparently annoying to you. We'd be screwed. So I will hold it together for us. Um, but when we're dating, we're celebrating those differences. Like they're
Yeah,
they're interesting and unique, and oh, it's cool. She does this. She likes this.
they're so
She thinks
different.
this. Yeah, we're so different, and that's part of the attraction. And then when we're spending every day together, and it's all in my face, if that's what I'm, if I let the differences annoy me, I'm gonna like I become annoyed with you, and I'm not gonna go out of my way. I don't know. So it's complacency. It's forgetting to celebrate the differences.
Mhm.
Laziness. Maybe that's a form of complacency or just another
Yeah,
word for complacency.
yeah.
Selfishness. We start to think it's all about me and like, again, focusing on, well, you haven't done anything to make me happy. Why should I do anything to make you happy? So
Hmm.
I don't know. That's what comes to mind for me. What about you?
Um, I think we just stop actively pursuing the other. Because I think you know, it just comes out. We know to get something, you got to pursue it, right? I mean, and so I think that over time, because we so-called got each other, right? We're married now. I don't have to pursue you we're married for life. So I think we lose we stop feeling the need to have to pursue the other, unless of course, maybe it's date night, you know, it's one of those things. Instead of having that mindset and the heart posture of, we get to do this life forever together. And we get to pursue each other today. You know,
Yeah.
everybody wants to be pursued. So it's, to me, and the pursuit isn't, again, it doesn't we don't have to go crazy, but it's in the actually, I think at the longer you're married, it actually is in the really little things, like showing up with your husband's favorite team sweatshirt on, and your husband making the bed for his wife, and a husband cooking dinner like you do for us on Sundays, that I don't have to be in the kitchen, which is always a win for me. All the little things. And I just feel like at that point, it makes I'll just speak for me. It makes me feel like he's thinking about me. He wants to pour into me. And that makes me then feel full, like poured into and pursued and special and wanted. Which then makes me want to do the same back to you. You know, and you don't get wrapped up in I'll do for you, you do for me. It's when you get lost in pursuing and pouring into the other, you forget about you, because the other person should be doing it, pouring into you. You know, it's.
So a couple of times you said we get to pursue each other. Now I'm very in tune when you say we get to, because we use that word a lot in place of we have to. Talk about, like, go ahead, tell everybody where that comes from.
Yeah.
And how that really helps shift the mindset, because that has changed so many things for me.
So many for
and
me,
I know
too.
for you.
Yeah.
So bring everybody up to speed.
Yeah, so we get to. It's been a phrase that we have picked up. We joked about it as a family, but that goes beyond. This goes back way back. Oh gosh, Justin. So our 24-year-old now, when he was in high school, he had a coach that was incredible, and it was playoff time. They made it through the playoffs, and they were going to the championship game, and it was Thanksgiving week. And I'll never forget it, because the parents are tired, the kids are tired, the coaches are tired, like everybody's tired. And I remember some of the parents that I knew, the kids had to practice on Thanksgiving. And we're like, are you kidding me? They can't just have one day off. Like, they have to do it on Thanksgiving too. And so the kids are tired. You know, those big boys love to eat. And so they really want to just be home and eat. They're tired. It's been a long season, and yet they're still playing.
It was raining too, I remember.
It's raining, it's colder. You know, it's dreary and it's long. And so I remember during that week, I think the coach, I actually wrote about this in my Do You Want to Get Well book, because it's been so impactful and huge, is the Coach Rooker is his name, Justin's head coach, gave the speech to the kids, you know, towards I don't know if it was the beginning of practice or end, but probably sensed they're tired, we're tired, we got to keep going, we get to play here. And he said something to these words. He's like, boys, there are other teams that are home watching. They'll be watching you play. They're not home. They're not practicing today. They're not practicing this week, and they're going to be watching you play. But boys, you get to be here. You get to practice. Everybody else is still watching. They're home and they're done. And they wish they were in your shoes, but you get to show up and practice today. You get to show up and practice tomorrow. You get to practice on Thanksgiving. And Justin came home and told us that story. But I swear, there's been some things those coaches have said that I think they were for me. And I don't know if they were for my kids, but there are a few things along the way that I'm like, that was a light bulb moment for me. And I think it was for all of us. So we started using this phrase, you don't have to, you get to.
Yeah.
Right. The boys could have showed up at practice, but not really given their all. They could have showed up with a poor attitude. They could have just, whatever, I'll just show up and not give my best.
Yeah.
And yet he says, you are the ones who get to be here.
Yeah. I remember he came, to your point, he came home and he said they were having a really lackluster practice. Like the boys were you know, they didn't want to be there. They were cold,
Yeah.
they were wet, they were frustrated, they were tired, they were hungry. And that's what the coach said was like, you get to practice because you get to play in the championship game. You and one other team. That's it. And Justin said after that, like the coach paused the practice to tell them that, and then after that, it was such a spirited finish to the practice because it's just like none of the circumstances had changed. It was
Yeah.
still cold. They were still hungry. They were still tired from a season.
Still
They
had
were
a
still
practice.
practicing on Thanksgiving Day, but the mindset shifted, and yeah, you're right. I stole that, and I used it countless times before to say, I don't have to go to work today. I get to go to work today.
Mhm.
I don't have to. The one I use a lot is
Yeah.
like our lawn. Whoo, the lawn in the back is just it's such a horrible
Slope.
graded hilt. It's like, oh, it's just awful. I get to mow that.
Mhm.
But for the longest time, I'd be like, oh, I have to go mow the lawn. I hate yard work. It's hard because it's so sloped and slanted. But no, like I get to do that. I get to do that because I own this house. Well, the bank owns this house. But I get to do
You
that.
get to
And
live here.
it's a whole mind. I don't have to love you. I don't have to do nice things for you.
That's right.
I don't have to protect you. I don't have to do anything. I get to because I'd like to think well, I know of one guy. There's one guy out there who at one time offered to give half the lottery to be with you.
Mm.
That is actually a true story. Who do you say that to? Your mom? I think you said
Yeah.
that to your mom.
Yeah.
He's like, ooh, I give half the lottery to be with her. So, right. So I get to,
$5. You gave $5.
I get to love
Yeah.
you and take care of you. I get to make your bed
Mhm.
because if I don't, there's at least one other guy out there who would want
At
to.
least one. Yeah.
And
But it's the same with pursuing. All of that is really it comes down to pursuing the heart of your spouse. Right? I mean, you could pursue her for the night, but we get to pursue one another, our hearts, really, for the rest of our lives. Nobody else gets that honor. And if we don't, trust me, there are other people who will be willing to take that spot. And that's not to like bump me, you, or any, it's just the fact that we make each other very vulnerable when we're not pouring into one another.
yeah,
Because it is a need of the soul. You know, we all want to feel important and special and wanted and pursued and desired and all of that. So how do we do that on a regular daily basis?
yeah, Dana, how do you do that on a regular basis?
I'm still trying to figure that out.
I know, I'm still waiting.
Yeah. Well, you're the better spouse.
Mm.
Mm.
Are we recording this?
Yes, dear.
Yes. Hey, there you go.
I have learned how to use that.
That was the appropriate time.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Mhm. No, when
No,
you make those little deposits, I think it goes so far. And when they're really genuine, because it's like the big to-dos, you know, it's not like it's her birthday or it's date night, and those are nice. But the little bit, right? If you can capture, I fully believe this. If you can capture the heart of a woman, you'll get everything else. But
Mhm.
if you don't capture her heart, you may get a little bit here and there, and you may get her for the night. She'll feel awful for giving herself away, but you won't get her everything.
Yeah.
And we're saying I do to each other to get everything, you know,
I think an important reminder, or maybe it's the first time they're hearing it, but you said like the birthdays and the anniversaries, those are nice. I would say yes, they are nice, but they're not enough. Like that
no.
is not enough to capture my heart. And you know how I know that? Because if when we were dating, we only went out on birthday and anniversary, it wouldn't have been often enough, right, to really build the intimacy, to build the desire for each other. So it's, the like the birthdays and the anniversaries and the big events, that's the sprinkles on top or the cherry
Yeah.
on top, but the cake is the that's the everyday moments, and they don't have to be huge. They just, it's the little things. It can be a little love note that or whether it's a written thing or like, again, making a bed, just doing something, but not doing it like I did the dishes 25 years ago and going, hey, did you notice what I did? Like, because that's not what it's
Yeah.
about. It's right. It's just doing it and moving on. Like,
Mhm. But
um,
here's the difference, I think, with when we're dating, we get so lost in, I think, the pursuit and the fun of pouring into the other that we really get really selfless about it, I think,
yes.
in a lot of ways.
Yep.
And then, but once we get married and what I call robot mode, you just get into the honeymoon's over and life, now normal life happens and it's that everyday life. We can, we start for what, I don't know why it shifts this way, but it seems like every couple we've ever talked to, including us, you go from pursuing and getting lost in the other and just pouring in, how can I make their day? What can I do for them? All those things, to somehow shifting to loving the other the way we want to be loved.
Yeah.
So like for me, I used to say to you, like, I clean the house for you. I cook dinner. I do all these things for you. Like, how can you say like you don't feel it? And you're like, I don't even see the mess. I don't even see the clean. Like, I don't see none of that means anything. It doesn't make
Yeah.
me feel loved. And I'm like, I'm killing myself over here to make you feel like, but that's important to me.
Yeah.
And
It-
then, yeah, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, and then vice versa. And then, whether it be touch or words or even getting in the bedroom, that's all, it's an important need for a marriage. In particular, it was important to you that if just to touch you, give you words of affirmation, even showing that I am actually desiring to be with you in bed, that meant so much to you. I was like, I'm good.
Yeah. I
And
know.
I didn't do it because I didn't not do it because I wanted to hurt you, even though I was hurting you.
Yeah.
That was
Vice
just not the
versa.
way I was receiving love, so I wasn't giving it that way.
Yeah. So what comes to mind for me, like everybody's heard of the golden rule,
Yeah.
right? The golden rule is love others like you, or treat others like you want to be treated.
Yeah.
That doesn't work. It
Hmm.
doesn't, and it's not enough. Um, it doesn't work in a marriage. Here's why, because it's exactly what you just said. If I treat you like I want to be treated, right? I love the affection, the physical touch. I love the kind, like the kind words, the affirmation.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. That's wind in my sails. That's not what you need. Like those are not things that you need. So if I'm golden ruling and I'm treating you like I want to be treated, I'm going to be giving you lots of affection and kind words. And you're going to be thinking, yeah, well, the words are empty because look at the mess. Like, because like
Yeah.
I really need help taking care of the kids, or like the words, the affection is pointless if we haven't had real intimate conversations.
Hmm.
So it's not the golden rule. I've heard this, it's the platinum rule, which
Mm.
is treat others the way they want to be treated,
Yep.
which now I was just gonna say that's
That's
gold in marriage.
golden.
No, that's platinum in a marriage
Yeah.
because now I can't think about what do I want? I'll do that for you. It's what do you want? I get to do that for you. And
Hmm.
it's just very different.
Hmm.
It's a more, more, I think, I don't know, selfless love. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's certainly it's a more effective one because I'm hitting the right buttons.
Yeah.
I'm loving you in ways that are recognizable to you,
Hmm.
versus doing things. And what happens? Here's what happens with the golden rule is I'm being affectionate with you, and
Yeah.
I'm giving you affirmation because that's what matters to me. It's not having the effect on you that I'm hoping for. And what do? I go, I can't. This woman, she's never happy.
Yep.
I can't make her happy. I just can't. She's never happy. And it's like, no, you're just missing the mark. I'm not you. I'm just missing the mark.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is this is one of the things that helped us rebuild our marriage to make it a marriage that is a marriage that we want. The marriage where I like to say, you know, we're better than we've ever been.
Yeah.
Because it gave us the freedom, one, to find out what's important to each one of us, and then pour into the other, how they want, how they need to receive the love. So much so, here's what I also encourage. You know, there's a couple we're talking to right now who they both have same needs. Okay. If let's just say both are affection or both are affirmation or both are recreational companionship, if they're both that and it's similar, and this is one of your top needs, okay, if I'm pursuing you, can we also talk about, well, what does that mean to you? Because they may actually mean different things. So then I'm going to go do recreational companionship with you. That may look different than what it means to me. So, okay, so there you could have more conversation and intimacy, just growing to find out, what does that mean? And what do you like now? Because as we age and grow in ourselves and in our marriage, it looks different, I think, as we get older. Like what I needed back then is it might be the same theme, but it looks a little different now. So will we become students of each other to learn, oh, and shifting with our spouse as they grow. It's all,
Yeah.
to me, it's all about pursuing you. Right?
I agree.
Yeah. So what would we say to people if they find themselves in robot mode, going through the motions? And to me, it's about getting that romance back. Because I think all these that was romantic. That was a little mysterious. He made the
Yeah.
bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the immediate takeaways for me are, one, you know, if the relationship isn't playful, bring the playfulness, right? Don't
Yeah.
wait for your spouse to do it.
Mhm.
Don't withhold it because they're not. And whether it's playfulness or romance or intimacy, and again, I just want to clarify, I'm not talking about physical.
Yeah.
Like if there's not enough communication happening, don't wait for your spouse. Don't have this expectation like, well, I'm gonna, you know, they need to do it. How's that working for you? All you're doing is just basically committing to nothing changing. So whatever you're missing in your relationship, you bring it. You bring it first. And I would add to that, then, as you said, like, make it a point to study each other, right? To be curious, bring that mindset of, I don't
Yeah.
have to do this. I get to. I
Mhm.
get to figure you out. I
Mhm.
get to love you every day. I get to serve you. I get to, like, nobody else gets to. Um, so yeah, that's what I would say. How about you?
Yeah, I would piggyback on what you said. I said to somebody today, put your student cap on. That's what I say to people a lot. Just become a student, right, of your spouse. And along the way, you kind of learn what's important to you as well. But to pursue our spouse, I think when we've been married for some time, we could just assume, I already know him. I know what she wants. I know what she likes. And I would just challenge you on that to say, I'm sure if you keep digging, you're going to find some new things you didn't know about her or about him. And put on what I like to call the rediscover detective hat.
Hmm.
It's rediscover, become a detective. Ask him, why do you like that? What, don't just assume like, he's liked it for years and I don't know why. I don't want to do that with him. But become like a detective of the one that you're married to and ask as many questions as you can. Along the way, you may actually pick up some of enjoy doing some of the things with them. So I would say become a student detective, get very curious, just like you said. And I would say the best way to do that, really, it's like an icebreaker, right? Just find an icebreaker, do something to make you laugh, and then continue to intentionally do things to make you laugh. Because we have enough stressors along the way, challenges along the way, and enough that could divide a marriage that I think if we actually take time, I think this is one of the things that I cherish and love so much about getting to be married to you, is that I think I can calm situations, and I think I can um be an encourager, and I can do all those things. But one of the things that you do that I think is a blessing is we can be in some of the most stressful moments and we can have some challenges, really tough challenges. And somewhere along the way, in some of those moments where you are sometimes funny, you bring the funny. And I don't mean like you're like, look at me, bring the funny. I mean, you can do these silly little things that in the moment can just break the ice of tension, of relieving some stress, to just go, okay, like we're here, we're together, we're on the same page, and we're gonna get through this. You know, yeah. You're not always funny, but in those moments, I really love your humor.
I'm gonna edit that so that all I hear is you're always funny.
Well, of
That's,
course, of course. Mhm.
yeah.
No, but do something to laugh on a regular basis, I think.
Like I said, bring it. I mean, but I do. I think it's perspective. If I want to see the good or I want to see the bad, I will.
Mhm.
So choose to see the good. Remember that uh, again, how many other people would want to be in this position? I
Yeah.
get to.
Yeah.
You were gonna say
And
something?
no, and I was just going to wrap it up to go, oh, I do have an idea. Here's one way you could just kick it off, because this is what it did for me. I had planned to do that sweatshirt for you the week before, and we didn't do it. And then you did the, make the bed. And I was so giggly about that. I couldn't wait to do something for me. And I was like, all right, I could do that tonight. The game's going on tonight. Perfect plan. I think that while I was doing that, that just brought moments of reminiscing for me.
Mm.
And so if you're wondering, it's really tense now, or how do I just kick this off and just start reminiscing with each other? Hey, do you remember when?
Mm.
Like we did this? Do you remember? That always to me lightens, because you're remembering good memories. You remember what could be. You were remembering where we were pouring into each other. Start there. And then continue it on. Just start pouring into each other again.
Yeah. I think the reason you felt all that love and giggly emotion way back in the beginning is because you were pouring into each other.
Yeah.
And I think it's easy to believe the lie when that's gone, that that it's just because it was that period and you only get that once, and then it's gone. When it's gone, it's gone. No, you were doing things that made that happen.
Yeah.
It was a feeling, but the feeling was the manifestation of the work that you were doing, pouring
That's
into
right.
each other. And
Yeah.
I don't care how long you've been married, when you pour into each other again, it comes back.
Oh, for sure.
It genuinely does.
Mhm.
But pour into each other like you did back then, right?
Mhm.
Like without worry about yeah, care about what you're getting. I mean, all I want to do is romance the heck out of you. I was not thinking, she's not doing anything for me. It was like, how do I top what I did yesterday?
Yeah.
How do I,
What
how
if
do
we
I,
had that mentality? How do I
right?
top yesterday? And that doesn't mean like bigger, better, more expensive.
Yeah. No, it's how do I, but like to me, how do I top what I did yesterday?
Yeah.
Right. That's who I'm competing against. I'm not competing against you.
Mhm.
I'm competing against how I showed up yesterday.
Yeah.
I guess tomorrow I have to clean the whole damn room.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I'm just telling you now, it's not going to happen.
Disappointment. Here we go. Cycle begins.
Right. Yeah.
That's good.
Okay.
Anything else?
Nope.
No, just go and start reminiscing, get it done. So
Amen.
I think kick it off, just start reminiscing, let it flow from there. Start doing just do one sweet little thing and then
Yeah.
just let it flow.
You get
And
to.
yeah, you get to. So have fun with it, because you got a lifelong journey together. So have fun with it. So if this really has helped you, we just ask, send it to a couple that are struggling, need some encouragement. Maybe that they're in a rut or stressed. Just share it with somebody. Don't forget to follow us. And thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.